Welcome, everyone, and Lisa, to this Good Jelly in Action coaching call. So,
Howdy.
I am here with Lisa Allen, and Lisa is an artist and a writer. What else are you, Lisa? There's a whole lot of things that you are.
Second career therapist,
Yeah,
uh, which is big, and a grandmother. Uh,
yes.
so a
Which
lot
is
of,
a which is a priority as well for
yep.
you, obviously. Um, and what we're going to dive in today is you put a question on the board, and I'm going to share this, and then we're going to read it, and then we're going to dive in.
Okay. So my question is related to trying to find a balance between two very different types of writing and what I would call writing tracks in my life. I have my work related writing, which is going to happen regardless, that's like every day. But I've been using the jam process for my writing work and trying to do both double duty. But I
Yeah.
also have a fiction project that I started back in the 90s,
Yeah.
like since fourth grade. I mean, that's the truth. He's now 40. And and I've wanted I want to see this get out into the world, but I clearly there have been a lot of pauses. And um while I've been focusing on my work related writing, this has been neglected, unfortunately, for a number of months. And I miss it. I realize I really like, I feel sad about it and I want to get
Okay.
back to it. So how do I get that back into front and center?
Yep.
And so I've been thinking, what do I do? Do I drop off, leave the work related writing off the board and just do the fiction writing and make that my priority? I don't really know how to approach it.
Okay. And you're saying, you keep saying here, and you said it, the writing work is going to happen. You're asking if this all or nothing. I'm going to drop all the writing work off my board. So I'm using smart process for my writing work. The business writing work, it's working. But do I abandon that to to put only the creative writing work on the board? Yeah.
Process because the writing work is happening already. Like, I think I'm practicing smart process for my work related writing already. I don't, it's okay. It's humming along.
Yes. Does the board help?
The board has helped to get me to the humming place. And I think it's been great. It's like taking the training wheels off the bicycle.
So you think smart process only applies till it's going well, and then the process is training wheels, and then everything will keep going. Is that your position right now?
That is what has happened with the work related writing, but it
Okay.
probably is humming also because it's work and it's a means of support. So it's going to happen.
Right. Okay. And then this you miss it. It's but you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to use this more supportive process, the jam process for the fiction writing. And because you don't want to leave this behind. So I'm going to stop sharing again. And so you already mentioned that work, there's obviously a financial existential aspect to it.
Mhm.
But how would you describe, is that really what drives it? That brings in funds and the creative work doesn't?
Yes.
Okay. And how much time would you say that you have for your creative fiction, realistically, with all your, because you have the art going, you have your family and relationships going, you have the work related stuff going. So realistically, what amount of time are we talking about?
Probably no more than 3 hours a week.
Okay. And and you also know, and where are you in the process of this book, the creative fiction?
I'm in um, a late stage revision before getting it ready to send out query letters.
Okay, and can we dive into a little more of the history of this book, that you did query with it?
I did query with it way back when in the 90s, and I got what is considered a positive rejection, but I
Yeah.
was a newbie writer that I was absolutely devastated and put the whole thing in the closet for a long time until I happened to be on a bicycle trip in France. And one of the other people in the bicycling group was a VP at a high level and talent agency. I asked him, what would you make of this kind of response I received? And he's the one who taught me this is a positive rejection. And if you had done what this editor had suggested would be necessary to get it to printable level, she probably would have taken the project, by which time the publishing industry had gone through many new
Right.
iterations.
So the editor had said, I like it, make these changes, and you said, I'm devastated.
Yes.
So there was a, and we love this younger Lisa, this who had put so much of her heart into that book and who was like, I will not change this book. And then, so you didn't take that action. Is that a fair assessment that there was a protectiveness to it?
Right. And not knowing really how to go forward.
Right. And then so you came into the Good Jelly programs, you were making a lot of progress on it. You got it again right, almost ready to query again. And then what happened?
Then we had well, 2020 and Black Lives Matter and everything changed. A lot of, because it takes place in the 1830s on Nantucket, which, Nantucket has preserved their beautiful, perfect image. And what I have going on in my story is not so pretty. I was trying to prove that this could have been possible because I didn't
Mm.
want the location to a fictional one. And the material just wasn't available. Then 2020 happened, and now so much more information has come to light that there's much more research available, and I can prove that position I had taken. Um,
So it's a historical novel, and basically you learn new historical data. And so and you are, your integrity level with that book is so high, you took the hit of, okay, I have to kind of pull it back from query and rework the plot line, the history line. And for any writer or novelist, if like you just can't plop one new detail and it has this ripple effect. So again, you were using good jelly process, but you're also having this mindset thing, and kind of the goal line changes again. And now you're in a place where you're feeling the pull and the longing for that. And what I'm hearing you say in that question is, can I use a very detailed process tool, the board? And you can absolutely, you can kind of use it in a way to shut it down. That makes your work invisible unless you have two boards, like we've talked with other writers about.
do that.
Okay, and that's fine. Like that's your response, that we want to go with it. But you're making a decision. You're going to make some of your work invisible with the hope that just the focus of this creative stuff on the board. And so I want to ask you a question. Is that going to be enough to hold your priority level? Because
Yeah.
to me, it's not a process issue, it's a priority thing first.
Yep. I would agree. Yes.
Okay, so what what is your priority? Like when do you want to be querying this again? Because a lot of people think about dates and they have something in their head. So do you have something in your head in 2026?
2026 is when I want it to happen. Let's say next summer.
So June or August, that's a 3 month difference.
Boom.
June. Okay.
I'll cut it to June.
June. All right. So what, someone has to help me with the math. Let me pull up my iPhone.
Let's say 6 months out. And now that we're talking, I'm thinking, okay, not a lot happens in the publishing industry in the summer. A lot of editors and agents go on vacation. Um,
Yeah, okay, if you want to say that. If you we that's an I mean, there's always an agent around. If you find the right agent, they would take it.
don't get hung up on that.
But if you want till August, What is your gut instinct? Because if we say 6 months, so are you gonna, you can do some prep work. We're going to be doing plan for done and getting your annual plan in order, but we are hitting the holidays. So realistically, you could get some mini momentum and prep going, depending on if you just want to dive in and clear some space. But 6 months, if that's 4 weeks in a month, we're going to do this math together. That's 24 times three. So in 72 hours in total, as if it's, in this mythical land where all those 72 hours would be perfectly utilized, you have 72 hours. So basically 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks of time.
Mm, might need 2.5 to 3. I feel more comfortable with
And
3.
and if on this replay I did the math wrong, everyone forgive me. Because
I'm not questioning it.
but it makes the point. You have right. If you've given us some data realistically. Um, so if you need, well, okay, if we do, so how many, this is going to be silly. So maybe let's just say, to be generous, you have to August. That's 12 more weeks times
That's better.
36 hours. It's almost another week. So we're getting you closer to 3 weeks.
That sounds,
But I think when you put it in those terms, it becomes okay.
yeah.
Like it's a little more, it sounds like in this nice long time of, you know, 9 months, but that there's going to have to be some elegance and focus and real prioritization. And, and maybe you can have, a week countdown or an hour countdown to help you really, um,
Hmm.
so you have a visual.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. I like that idea.
And you're an artist, so you could make a cool one.
Color coded.
Yeah. Well, I think when I was a little kid and there were fundraising, and one time I mean, I don't know, I don't even know if they have bulletin boards in schools anymore. I don't know. But I was in charge of, putting the paper on the bullet and making the big thermometer and adding the red. And I mean, it was cool that I was engaged with that, that there is something engaging about that and the visual. So okay, so you're going to be querying by September 1st.
Yes.
Okay. So that means the book is like, what's your revision process? Like, what is your process of getting the book done?
It means reading some historical data.
Okay, so
And
you have a reading.
yeah, I have some, research reading and then integrating bits and pieces into the storyline. I've already come up with a storyline revision,
Okay.
uh, but it means fleshing it out. And
And
then
then
do and
go
then
ahead.
doing reading to make sure it still makes sense, because now I
Right. So when, like, if we, so some, when one of the easiest ways for me to project plan, I, um, I've managed big projects and, there's all these tools and you can do Gantt charts, but we want to get realistic and we want to start at this level and for individual creative work and knowing that we're going to have to keep this in a territory of where you feel challenged and engaged, but not that like 3 weeks in, you're like, oh, this is, I'm just going to have to give this up. And then we're going to have to put in buffers, and then we're going to have to put in like, what if things get crazy? How are you managing the prioritization? So if we work backwards a little bit, you have the storyline, you have to just kind of level check it. So there's going to be read throughs. And then do you have a process of someone else reads it for you? Do you have first readers? Or do in you, your process is that you get solid on it and then you go? Like, what is your, do you have a critique group? Do you have first readers?
I haven't, I mean, last time I thought I had it done, I had first readers and I
Okay.
had reader response Q&A. So it was like 5 questions.
Okay.
Um,
So that's
and
great. So let's just stop and pause for, people are listening to this, that a lot of time people go into critique situations, and I've heard a lot of people just say, have at it. And
mm,
yeah, and have at it can open a whole lot of things that, depending on your sense of grounded power in that manuscript where it is, can go. So as you, as the creator and kind of steward of that manuscript, you have a process that says, hey, do you have time to read it? And then actually that makes it easier for the reader as well, if they're willing. Some people like, I'm just going to say what I want to say, then they're probably not great readers for you. So if, or anyone, because that's kind of the respectfulness of being a reader if someone asks for specific stuff. But that actually makes it easier for the readers who are game to play, because they can just focus on where you as the artist and creator are asking for specific help. And that also makes the digesting and processing of the feedback easier as well. So that you have, and you have an MFA and you've written a lot before. So you have clear, there's some strength and confidence in your own, like, and now I'm not talking creative productivity practice, I'm actually talking your creative process in your writing. Yeah, so
all
it's
of
not,
that.
you're a different writer than you were when you were kind of overwhelmed by that feedback by the editor however many years ago when you were in fourth grade.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, I got it. I'm all with you now. I can do that math well as well. So okay, so you have a critique process, so you have to read it. You read. Are you taking this stuff down as well as I am? So to make sure we're not, you know, and then you have your critique group process. Do you like, are you knowing who you're going to query? Are you going direct to editors? Are you going to agents? Are
Going to
you
get going to agents.
agents?
Don't have a list yet.
No list. And do you like the idea of going to conferences where you can get in front of them and have permission to send directly to agents and editors, or they have pitch sessions? So would you be interested in doing something like that? Or
I
I
would
don't know.
consider that. There's the Society for Illustrated Children's Book
Book.
Illustration Writers,
Yep.
and they offer that pitch session for an extra fee. They have
Yep.
an annual regional
Yep.
conference.
Yeah, so SCBWI. So yep.
It,
And
that's where I was considering going.
and they also have lots of regional things where you could
Mm.
get online, the Northeastern SCBWI. Um, so so there's some work in making decisions about that.
Yep.
And uh, making, like, I've gone to SCBWI conferences before, like annual ones, where you're put in a room with hundreds of people and you just get who you get. And then I've
Mhm.
been at other ones where you can ask for a certain person, but sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. um, there's also more intimate conferences, smaller, where you can get in front of people. Um, but there's some thinking and decision making. It's not like, okay, I'm just going to wake up now, I'm ready to query. So there's, right. So, and then there's, are you comfortable writing query letters, or do those like,
That sort of, I feel like a donkey putting my hooves into the dirt and somebody's pulling me along. That I'm
oh,
not thrilled about that process.
okay, so we can talk about that a little bit just so you can start thinking about it. And we're going to start pulling with the new newsletter and the new website. All the archive of the 3+ years of blog posts are not on the website yet, but we're planning on making resource section where I'm pulling one of those forward. And one
Yeah.
of the ones I write is on query process because my observation is that a lot of good jelly is the writing adventure, the creative adventure doesn't have to be so hard. And if I could have a subgenre, I would be like, I mean, I get it, but seriously, the query letter process does not have to be so hard. And we can talk about that a little bit today if we have time, just to get your head making that shift, even months before, because there are things you could be doing now that said, oh, okay, okay, that could just tighten that up almost so by the time you get there, you have the shell ready to go. And it's just like, oh,
Oh my
yeah,
God, that
okay, awesome. So then you have the query letter process, the conferences, and then September 1, you're querying.
yeah.
And then what's going to happen?
Watch that response. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
well, then it moves out of your control a little bit.
oh yeah. And there could be a lot of disappointment. There could be a lot of rejections.
So
All you need
mindset management. Yep.
is one positive. Um,
Wait,
and
what is the one positive? You just need one positive.
just
Right.
need one positive. And
Okay.
so that I think that I could get stuck trying to come up with who are the perfect people to query. And I know about the whole I can't think of the word, but you don't query a bunch of people and not, you go one at a time so that
Well, that's part of what your prep work could be. There are different strategies. Some people do blanket like 50 agents at once. For me, that's a little bit too many for me. But there may be a middle ground between only one at a time versus 50. And so you could, there's probably articles and strategies written about there, different blogs that talk about that. So I would say that's another thing of really thinking through your 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 querying process so you have that ready as well. And then um, from a process perspective, I like having a spreadsheet that just, when did I send it? Did a rejection come in or was it just, you know,
dead air.
right? But, also being understanding what their query letter rules, they're what they want. What
Mhm.
in the query that can be different. Some people want a synopsis. So you probably have to have a synopsis prepared along with the query letter. Some people want your hook so these different pieces that you're thinking through getting those prepped, that is addition to having the book done,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So now we have so how many we said 72 hours. So let's say you have 120 hours. So you have 3 weeks